Hello and welcome to PM Woodworking. Today we're not just going to build a project. What we're going to do is we're going to repair an old cutting board that we had. The pieces have all come apart. I got to re-glue the one side, and then what we need to do is repair the other side, make a new piece. Generally, in the society we live in, everything's disposable. No one wants to take the time to fix it, or maybe they just don't know how. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you with some basic skills. We're going to use a table saw, a sander, nothing special, but we're going to learn how to repair things today. And it's going to start with a piece of maple that I purchased from the lumber yard. And I'm going to run it through the table saw. I'm going to match the groove to the tongue on this cut. And hopefully we can get this back in working order. This cutting board is probably close to 100 years old. It's been sitting on the shop shelf for maybe 20 years and kind of forgot about it. It was my great aunt's. So I'm going to try and bring it back to life. All right? Hope you enjoy it. All right. So the first step that we're going to take in repairing the cutting board is we're going to measure the width of it, which is about 14 inches. I like to make my workpiece a little longer, and I could always trim it back. So I'm going to make this piece 16 inches. And I'm going to cut it on the radial arm saw. Also, the next step is going to be to cut a groove in the piece. All right. Basically, to match this cut, I have this to go off of from my matching piece. And generally, this piece is like 1.5 inches. I'm leaving my piece tall because I'm going to be passing it over the blades on the table saw. And I like to keep my fingers as far away from the blade as possible because the machine will always win. All right, so here's going to be my first cut to start our project. All right, the next step that we're going to take, we can save that scrap for another little project somewhere down the line. The next step we're going to take is we're going to match this groove and the height of the table saw blade. Okay, let me just reposition the camera a little so we can see that. All right, we should be good there. We are. So what it is I'm matching it up. I got the depth of the blade already set. Okay, and I actually have the first cut away from the fence. All right, so there we go with that. Always use your push stick. All right. All right, so we're on to the next step. It's going to be gluing. So what I like to do is I like to drop a little glue inside the joint. And I also like to drop it on the tongue of the material. Glue that all up. And then we're just going to lay that piece on top. Tap it down. And I got a little rag here to, there's a little, dampen it up a little with some water. Get that excess off. Just be easier when we get to the sanding part. you don't have any lumps of glue. Alrighty. Next step will be the next piece. Glue in the joint. Drop some glue on the tongue. You want to do it on both sides so you get a good bond. Alright. I'm just going to take the next piece and just tap that on. We're just going to get our pipe clamps. And we are just going to tighten them up. There we go. Alrighty. Next side. Tighten that side up. Alrighty. And we'll come back tomorrow. Now let's clear up this glue here. And we'll come back tomorrow and sand it all down, make it all pretty again, get all this rough saw cuts out, and we'll take it from there. Thanks for spending some time with me, and see you tomorrow. Hello, welcome back. Today we are going to unclamp our cutting board that we had glued up overnight, and we're going to sand it down. We're going to ease the edges with the router. We'll use a bevel trim bit for that. We will also sand, get out all these rough edges and old knife cuts in the board. So let's start. See how this thing came out. Alrighty. Looks like it glued up pretty good. What we're first going to do is we're going to sand it down a little. Get off some of this roughness, and this way all the wood color will match also. So let's start with that. Got my sander set. Hey, just a quick tip. Got my sandpaper here. Now, if you would have just folded it and cut it to fit your sander, you'd just probably crease the paper and not be able to work it. So there's a thing called break in the back. So you just run it on an edge, and you kind of separate the glue and the stones a little and make them a little softer to bend. So now you have it. You can fold it. It's not going to crack the paper. You get your first fold. Oh, we got a little edge here we can use. And all you do is now you lay it on that one edge. And you just tear it. Fold it again, and you'll have all your pieces that you need for your sander. And they'll all fit. If you cut it in quarters, your paper should fit on your sander. We'll cut a couple of them. Alright, now you saw how nice that all folded, no bad edges or anything. No jagged edges on your paper. So I'll show you what happens if you don't. Now let's grab one of these. Now if you don't break the back on the paper, your paper kind of gets a sharp edge, and it's not going to tear well. You just got to kind of push it down. You see what's happening to the paper. Not a good thing to do. So you always want to take your sandpaper and, like I said, break the back of it, and then you can tear it and have your pieces cut. All right, I'm going to quickly sand this down, and then we'll go to the next step. There we go. We got the one side sand. It goes pretty quick. I don't want to take all the life out of that board. I want to leave some of those stains, and I just wanted to take off some of the old knife cuts that were in it. You know, you could see inside how nice and tight the joints are. The glue lines are nice. You know, we'll always be able to see the repair, but that's all right. Means that we repurposed. You see the roughness on the back. We're going to do the other side also. Sand that all down, and we'll take it from there. If you don't mind, I'll start sanding again. All right. So like I said before, I don't want to take all the life out of this board. I want to be able to see. I think I told you in the beginning that this was my great aunt's cutting board. And you know what? I want to still see some of those old cuts that she used to make. So that down the line I can sit back and remember and say, yeah, that was something that could have been done 100 years ago. My aunt touched this, and now I'm repurposing and using it again. Look at it. Came out pretty nice. Look at that. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run the router and just ease these edges with a bevel trim bit, just to take the sharpness off the corners, and we'll take it from there. So we'll move this to the side, and we have the router. If you see it, it's got a flush trim bit. It's got a bearing so it'll run the edge of the board, and it's just a quick little run. I'm going to start the router up. It's going to be a little noisy, so bear with me. Alrighty? Thanks, guys. probably can't even see it, but there's a slight little ease on this way. You're not catching your finger and catching a splinter down the line. So that's it, guys. I fixed this board, put the new piece in, glue joints in nice and tight. I'm excited about a simple project. I'm not, what can I say? I wanted to show you guys that you can fix anything. Anything can be repaired. Simple projects. I mean, this thing from start to finish, hour-wise, probably took me an hour. If I totaled up the time, put it all together. But now I have a really awesome cutting board that I can pass on to my kids, and this thing can go on from generation to generation like it has now. I mean, we're passing 3 generations of this cutting board basically. And I'm not telling everybody, oh, just go out and buy a cutting board and do this project. It was more to let you know that things can be fixed, repurposed, that we don't have to be in a disposable society. Where take the time. With the skills you learn, simple skills, you can do wonderful things. That's my goal with this channel, is to not make this a job for you, but make it a hobby, something you enjoy doing, where you can pass it on to the next generation and so on and so forth. And I don't know, I hope you find it enjoyable, where you can, what can I say, where instead of doing things, everything's always about money. And you know, everybody says it's a hobby, but it winds up always being a business. And then once that happens, you stop enjoying things because you're not doing it for yourself. It's all about the dollar. So that's the purpose of the show. I mean, enjoy yourself. Have a hobby, not a job. You have a job during the day. You need a place to go and relax and just tinker and putter around and accomplish things that make you feel good. That's my goal for you guys. All right? Till the next time, have a great night. Hope you continue to watch PM Woodworking. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe.